Everyone, welcome to Ian and Friends. I am FloBikes Senior Editor Ian Dille.
And I am Michael Sheehan, Ian's friend. Today we are going to preview Milan San Remo, La Primavera, the Sprinter's Monument. Now, it is a terribly boring, almost 300-kilometer race, and there's really no point in watching until the final 30 kilometers. But you are going to want to tune into FloBikes for this final 30K.
Michael is completely wrong. This race has been nuts over the first 200 kilometers, 250 kilometers in the past. In 2013, there was a crazy snowstorm. People had to get in vans. Tune in early from the start. Set your alarm for 3 a.m. or whenever it starts in the U.S. and Canada. The course goes over the mountains from Milan down to the Mediterranean coast. Along the beautiful Mediterranean coast, we hit the climbs of the Cipressa and then the Poggio, and then the finish in the Via Roma in San Remo. Today we are going to talk about the Poggio or the Via Roma. Where do you win this bike race?
Yeah, traditionally, the entirety of Milan San Remo has come down to this final densely packed fireworks action up the Poggio, and we really do see two types of winners emerge at the end of the day. Either an attack goes clear up the Poggio and the rider is able to just blitz the descent and stay away to the finish, or the attacks are neutralized and the field blitzes down the descent and it remains a sprinter's race.
Yeah, over the last 10 years, we've actually seen the wins in Milan San Remo pretty evenly split between moves that go clear on the Poggio and make it all the way to the finish, or a big bunch finish that comes down to the line. Last year, we obviously saw Nibali with his incredible solo win, Kwiatkowski over Sagan and Alaphilippe. And then we've seen incredible sprints in the past as well, with Degenkolb, Cavendish, Demar, all taking it out of a big group right at the line. For me, the beautiful and I think the only way to win Milan San Remo is going solo on the Poggio rather than waiting for some silly field sprint. This is the way that this race was meant to be won, that the greats of our sport have won this race, including Eddy Merckx. If you don't attack on the Poggio, you're kind of a wuss. If you wait for the field sprint, it is not an honorable victory.
An honorable victory. A win's a win. A win's a win, and I love nothing more than seeing a field under pressure with 2 kilometers to go at the bottom of the Poggio descent desperately try to organize themselves. Sprinters are left with 1, maybe 2 lead-out guys if they're lucky after this climb. I think that if a sprint train can organize itself at the finish of this race, then that is truly going to be one of the best sprint teams in the world. There's nothing I like more than seeing a sprinter dash all hopes of an escapee in these final hectic 2 kilometers.
Look, there's probably a dozen riders that can maybe take this in a field sprint. There is a very select few riders that can escape on the Poggio and make it all the way to the finish in front of a chasing group. And I would actually like to see this race one-upped a little bit from being decided on the Poggio. And I'm going to say that this year, I think there's going to be a breakaway that goes 1 climb earlier on the Cipressa, makes it all the way to the finish. We've seen in these monuments over the last year with reduced team sizes from 8 riders to 7 riders that it is much harder to contain these races. They've been way more open, especially in the monuments where tired legs emerge in the last 80 kilometers. And pretty much every monument over the last year, except for Milan San Remo, has been won from a long-range attack, 40 kilometers out or more.
I would love to see the breakaway win at Milan San Remo this year, but just nothing's going to go until the Poggio.
That is just silly.
Okay, anyways, well, allow me to give my prediction for Milan San Remo, if I may.
Let's get into it. Who's your favorite?
My favorite, Greg Van Avermaet. He has had a rough go of it recently. He just always seems to be the rider who is isolated, doesn't have any team support, and he is just stuck on the back foot, having to chase down riders who are on quick step with multiple teammates, and he's just always been right there, but just completely overworked in the finale. I think that this finish at Milan San Remo, where all the teams are going to have drastically reduced support, I think that this is finally going to be the perfect scenario for Greg Van Avermaet.
I like Greg Van Avermaet, but I'm going to go with his biggest rival, Peter Sagan. This is the year that Peter Sagan finally wins Milan San Remo. He is coming into this race with an on-form sprinter to back him up in Sam Bennett. So anybody that puts on a serious chase of Peter Sagan is going to be dragging Sam Bennett right up to him, and they're going to think twice about putting in a chase. There's going to be some tension behind. I think Peter Sagan, with an attack on the Cipressa or maybe the Poggio, will finally win Milan San Remo.
Fair. You know, it will be about time. He's been so close. Won almost everything else. Can I go into a dark horse?
Let's talk about their dark horses.
Okay, dark horse for a Poggio attack. Tom Skuins, the Latvian. He is an incredibly aggressive racer. He does not quite have the bullseye on his back that some of the favorites are going to have. And he is a rider that if the field gives him an inch going up the Poggio, he will take a mile on that descent, and it is going to be nearly impossible to reel him back.
That would be a fabulous win. I am going to go with Matej Mohoric, the Slovenian super descender. This race, let's be honest, is obviously separations form on the Poggio, but this race is really won on the descent of the Poggio. I mean, this is some of the scariest, most technical descending you will ever see in a bike race. This screaming, roughly 2-kilometer descent down this climb, and nobody goes downhill better than Matej Mohoric. And he's proven also that he has this strength now, you know, this former under-23 world champion, to hold it all the way to the finish. He won some big races at the end of last year, the Bink Bank Tour, as well as the new Tour of Deutschland. And yeah, I think he's ready to take a monument.
Either way, it is going to be an absolutely thrilling finale, a host of riders who can win Milan San Remo, and of course, it is going to be broadcast live and on demand this weekend on FloBikes.
Tune in.